My inspiration was to be a slave. I was so happy that I ended up, picking that book. Slave and plantation are in our textbook, and they knew very little. So I started with the tableau and the role acting, and the book is divided into capture, auction block, plantation, and and then emancipation, which I haven't got to. So I incorporated language arts because I really didn't want them just to see it as just an event, but to see them as the people that were really, involved. So we did, like confused, shackled hands, long march, paralyzing crouch, and that came from here because on the when we did the Amistad, just to let them know that the North did have, I had a rug, and they were the slaves. That was our ship, and I bound loosely their hands and feet, and they had to sit. 23 students had to sit for 10 minutes on that and just see what was going in, and they said, oh, we can do it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes was a very long time that they found out. When we did the auction block, we were doing quotations, so they had to, if you could speak your mind, what were some thoughts that you would want to say. And this one says, wait, take my mother too, please, yelled Jillian the slave. They were at, my baby screamed a slave mother as her child sold. So they really did put some thought into it. Plantation, I was lucky enough to have some cotton that was actually picked in Georgia from a retired teacher. So we used that, and we went outside, and they did the tableau again, and they freeze framed, and that was where they had to use the thesaurus. They came up to find a synonym for some things, and they came inspecting eyes, blistering heat, aching back, unending day. And then freedom. They had a great time with that also. This came as a result of when we were captured. They had to say, if I were a slave, my dream is, and what would they want? And they came up with some things that we finally made it to Canada. Oh, let me just backtrack because they kept wanting to do more. The Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was just, again, an event, and I said, they were the people. And I think this made the most impact to them because I said these were people that had a tradition and a culture. And we took the potatoes and we stamped our cloth. And I said they went from this to eating hoe cakes out in the field. And those that did escape, because we said there were some tribes in Florida that took them, I said they ran to a whole different culture, and they never had this ever again. Gone, lost. I said they could incorporate some of their, traditions in, but who they were was really gone forever. We looked at the agent as the first person, and the secret code, that they had to do with the lettering, the station master or the conductor that, took them on their journey. We made this candle as an activity because sometimes they would. We burned old crayons. And when they had to be hid, I said, think if you had to hide in your house and you never wanted to be found, where would you go? And they came up with a plan, and I said, isn't that what the station master, that was his job, and that was important that they never, got caught. And then, again, we made it, and we took that, phrase, what I want as freedom, and no choices, no chains, power, pride.
Great.